Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoBalls Talk. I'm ProtoMet.
It sure has been a couple of months, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been crazy. With work and stuff.
I have a job, so you know.
I too have a job.
Whoa, crazy. This is me, Barry.
And today we will be taking a look at the final entry in the Scooby-Doo Brain Trust quadrilogy, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Yay! For those of you who aren't aware, the reason this is called the Brain Trust quadrilogy is because this was the fourth and final film to be mostly worked on by the guys who started working on Zombie Island and continued on for the other three films beyond that. So they did good for like half of these movies.
Are you referring to Alien Invaders and Cyber Chase as not the better versions?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Sure, but I like Cyber Chase despite the problems that we'll get into.
Well, before we even get into it, one of the big reasons there even is such a major problem with this movie is because they brought on another guy to work on this movie. So that's why this movie is kind of a mess. He just had way too many ideas for one movie. And they had to let him work on it because of contract reasons.
Those darn pesky unions.
I don't even know if that was union related or not.
The Screenwriters Union. The Screenwriters Guild. I don't know. Anyway, hold on. Cyber Chase. Yes. 2001. It's the last of the original quadrilogy of movies.
But not the last movie. They have kept making movies.
Yeah, honestly, I think it is because of the first four movies that Scooby-Doo is probably bigger now than it was even before. I could see that. I mean, we've gotten a lot more movies in the past 20 years than Scooby-Doo even had back when it was first coming out. Are we planning on doing the theatrical releases?
I mean, if you want to.
Man, I don't know. Those are their own sort of...
I mean, if we do those, we'll kind of just have to deal with them, as a separate marathon.
I mean, yeah, but that's another...
And then, of course, we'd have to talk about the other live-action movies.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this is probably the lightest toned movie out of all of them. I mean, maybe Alien Invaders. I mean,
I can accept Alien Invaders as being part of what they were trying to go for with the first two movies.
Yeah.
Of having, real monsters. Because technically, Cyber Chase has a real monster, but it also breaks the laws of physics in order to do so, which is one of the many problems I have with this movie. For anybody who wants a very concise video absolutely critiquing the hell out of this movie, I recommend checking out Cat Icarus's review of the movie that he did a few years back.
That you're inevitably going to quote.
I will do my best to not, but he makes some really good points. Besides, I've come up with a number of other reasons why I dislike this movie, aside from what's presented in that review. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's a weird movie, Cyber Chase. I like it, and a lot of people, and I say rightfully, consider it sort of the last nostalgic Scooby-Doo movie before What's New Scooby-Doo started coming out.
Which is kind of ironic because the next two movies are literally nostalgia trips because they get as much of the original cast back as they can.
Yeah. That's fine. I
would say this is the last of the non-standard Scooby-Doo format.
Yes.
Because everything else kind of falls into the Scooby-Doo format, and even this movie really does, too. This is the previous movie.
Yep. It's also the last film to be animated by Mook Animation, which is a Japanese studio. Which is why the first 4 movies all have very how do you word it?
Clean animation?
Not just clean animation. They have very specific like anime styles.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you remember Witch's Ghost.
Zombie Island.
Witch's Ghost and Zombie Island. They have a couple of
very anime looking moments.
Yes, very very anime looking character designs. Despite looking mostly Western.
Yeah, I mean you're not gonna be that's an anime.
No, there'll be a few moments, a few frames of animation where it's like that's an anime.
But in general, no, they don't look anime.
But yeah, and this is also the last movie to be released, or not released, but the last production of Hanna-Barbera before
becoming part of Warner Brothers.
Not just they were already part of Warner Brothers, but it's the final production of William Hanna.
Mm.
Of William Hanna. He passed away shortly after production.
I think one of these movies was even dedicated to Joseph Barbera.
Joseph Barbera passed away in 2006. William Hanna passed away in 2001. Like, these guys were old. They had been doing this since the 50s.
Well, there's a reason why the company was called Hanna-Barbera.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. These guys are legends of the animation business. They're
Walt Disney, Mel Blanc, Chuck Jones, Tex Avery.
I even say the Rankin Bass productions.
Yeah.
They're up there. And William Hanna was... I want to say they were not known for quality, but they were known for quantity. They had
a lot of cartoons.
A lot of cartoons. Some of them great, some of them not so much. No, nevertheless,
it's kind of if we make enough of them, one of them will be a hit type situation.
Yeah, and they had
which is kind of why they were able to even do Laugh Olympics. They just had so many characters.
Yeah, I mean their best stuff, obviously Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, the Jetsons. I'm trying to think. Did Hanna-Barbera do G.I. Joe? I don't think they did.
No, that was Sunbow.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Same guys who did Transformers. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big 3. But then there's stuff like Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
Yogi Bear.
Huckleberry Hound. Wacky Racers.
Yeah.
Addams Family.
They did do the Addams Family, didn't they?
The cartoon, yeah.
The cartoon, at least.
Which came out like a decade later, but even that was preceded by...
Anyway, we're already losing the plot, and we better get back into it. So.
No, but I want to not talk about this movie. Fine.
Yeah.
So, it's a dark and stormy night at a computer lab.
That somehow has sort of a chemistry table. For whatever reason, I would forget. Already, we have problems.
Yeah,
it's a computer lab, but it has a chemistry table. I would forgive it if it was making coffee.
Like that would have been funny, but no, it's treated as an actual chemistry lab.
Like it's actually making chemicals in the middle of the night, which is super dangerous, by the way. No chemistry lab on any campus in college. This is a college, by the way. This is a college. I don't know what college this is.
State University.
Coolsville State University.
No, just State University.
Okay. I mean, I want to say it takes place in Coolsville. Just because it makes...
Just because there's no other place it can take place.
Yeah.
Because we have no name for the town.
Yeah,
Even though Coolsville is really only just the name of the town and a pup named Scooby-Doo, and any time they just decide they need to have a name for
it's also in What's New Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, but that's only because they needed a place.
To the Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because it actually it actually lampshades that whole thing where the gang's just like, wow, we haven't been in Coolsville in years. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
They're burning the midnight oil, working on programming stuff.
And chemistry for whatever.
When then
reason.
all of a sudden, the baseball cap wearing guy informs the professor, who has a lion's mane.
This guy looks.
That's a Cat Icarus quote.
Okay. Let's be honest. This guy is supposed to be an analog for Albert Einstein because he's got the big bushy hair, big bushy white hair, and a German accent. I'm sorry. You can't convince me it's not supposed to be an analog for Einstein.
But anyway, stuff's going on with the computer, and then a blue glowing virus monster just kind of comes out of the computer and just starts approaching them menacingly, and causing electrical equipment to go haywire, and blowing up the chemical mini lab just by walking by it somehow. Also, it can shoot lightning bolts or something and control telephone wires.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then Professor Lionmane, because yes, I'm going to keep calling him that, because why not? He just kind of randomly gropes behind him and grabs a super magnet that they just happen to have in the computer lab!
Stop screaming. Stop screaming.
And that, I guess, chases away the monster.
Because, magnets in a computer lab.
Super magnets!
Super magnets in a computer lab is a great idea.
Disclaimer, do not put a super magnet anywhere near a computer. It will absolutely wreck that shit. Like, that is the worst idea.
Maybe that's why they have it. They're testing super magnets on computers while also doing coding. You alright?
Give me a moment.
We'll get through this.
We'll get through this.
But,
and I'll get to rant.
But
very soon.
But the next morning, the
Scooby and the gang are on their way to college because one of the guys working in the computer lab was making a computer game based on them. Which I will get into. I have so many problems with that whole explanation, but we will get into that soon enough. But they arrive at the campus and are stopped by a security guard. Like, you'd think, given what had just happened, there'd be more than just a single security guard on campus.
Officer Wembley is his name. He's the chief. He's the chief security guard, by the way. He's not just like the only security guard, but he's the one who's always on duty.
But for all intents and purposes, because he's the only one who ever actually shows up, he's the only security guard.
By the way, it's not Professor Lionmane, it's Professor Kaufman. All right, let's get it right.
I'm gonna keep calling him Lionmane though.
And the two students are Eric and Bill, by the way.
Which one is the one that?
Bill is the one with the cap.
Okay, and then Eric's the one who invited the gang in.
Eric's the one who created the program.
Anyways, the Scooby gang gets stopped by Wembley, who chastises them for
being adults on their campus. What are you doing here? You trying to fuck people? I don't know. I mean, that's what a security guard would really do if they see a bunch of adults. Mind you, they're full-grown adults. This movie is still...
No, they're teenagers. They've been regressed again.
Fuck. I was gonna say, this movie is canon with, like, the two other movies.
Also, there are a lot of adults that attend college campuses. Young adults...
Yes.
Which would probably be in the same age demographic as the gang.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
They're strangers and they're not on the student roster. So you kind of have to assume what are you doing here? What's your business here?
Yeah, but he acts like they're criminals before he's even met them.
They brought a dog on campus. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah,
but he doesn't have a problem with that.
That's besides the point. All right? Alright?
Well, yes, he questions them about the fact of whether or not the dog is with them. But when they say yeah, he just like, alright.
Also, there's a lot of sarcasm in this movie, and I love it. like, Scooby-Doo is not really known for highbrow humor, but, yeah, there's a lot of sarcasm and just, like, witty humor in this movie that I admit is pretty good.
Yeah. Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot, but it's there. It's there. I mean, when Scooby's pretending to,
imitate Wembley.
Yeah, imitating Wembley. That's
kind
pretty...
of swipes his hat and just kind of mimics him behind his back.
It's pretty funny.
It's okay.
Anyway, I will say this. One logical piece of stuff is that it does make sense that magnets obviously hurt the creature.
Obviously. It's just, why do they only do so in certain situations? And I will get into that in a hot minute.
But basically, yeah, they meet up with Bill and Kaufman and Eric, and they're like, oh, hey, check this out. And they show off their new machine, and then Kaufman's just like, no, we're not letting...
Okay, so for context, their machine is basically a matter digitizer, which according to the explanation, utilizes quantum particles, and which they've been using as a storage space. They've just kind of casually been using this miraculous physics-defying technology to just store extra stuff.
Yep.
With quantum particles. That's not how quantum mechanics works! You have... Oh, here it comes.
Relax.
They have this miracle technology that allows them to create physical objects from digital space or transmit physical objects into digital space, and they're using it to program a goddamn video game!
Relax. You don't need to scream. I'll cover up the mic. You don't need to get mad.
Yes, I do.
No, this movie's not worth getting mad. It's a children's movie.
This movie hinges on this miracle technology.
And I'm not saying
that they just casually have at State University.
And I'm not saying, oh, it's a children's movie, therefore it doesn't need to be
smart.
It doesn't. Therefore, it's okay to be void of logic. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is not the movie to get mad over. You want to get mad about dumb movies? Let's talk about fucking the Harry Potter movies. We can talk about how fucking
magic. I just defeated any and all arguments you had regarding those movies.
No. Okay. All right. Yeah.
But that's a caveat for Harry Potter. It's a magical world. You can kind of shut your brain off.
Nope. It's a magical world, sure, but how come there's no modern technology? You would think that,
because they got magic.
Okay, but where's the Wi-Fi? Where's the televisions? Where's all of these technologies like
magic?
Okay, well then why are you using an owl?
Magic.
That doesn't work.
Magical owl of phantasmagorium.
Owls are the slowest bird.
For the record, I've never actually seen any of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, the Harry Potter movies don't make a lick of sense. I mean, like, sure, magic, but that doesn't really explain things. You would think with technology, like the magical car in the second book and movie, that makes sense. A magical car is kind of useful. There's a lot of stuff.
Let's keep discussing this movie I've never seen instead of talking about this actual movie I have.
Also, I mean, fuck J.K. Rowling, but that's a different.
Yes.
That's a different matter entirely. She's a horrible person.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of another.
She became a real life Voldemort.
Yeah, she did. She fucking lived long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
She fulfilled the prophecy. But, no, I was trying to think of another movie that we both have seen. There's, like, movies don't necessarily have to be...
I'm just saying that the reason why I have such a nitpick with this is because it's literal miracle technology, and they're just acting as though it's casual, and the entire plot of the film rests on this magical piece of technology in a science fiction movie.
So in this canon, if they're teenagers again, would this mean that Zombie Island is the last one?
Nope, because they still got the outfits from Zombie Island. They actually call out the fact that they're still wearing those outfits. There is a moment in the movie where they specifically call out the fact that they are still wearing new outfits.
Yeah, they're wearing their new outfits, but they're not wearing their Zombie Island outfits.
Hey, don't worry about this. Return to Zombie Island will retcon it as a high school project.
Shut the fuck up. Oh. We don't talk about... We're never doing Zombie Island. I'm sorry. That's one movie I just refuse to watch.
That is fair.
Because it... Even if it's just like, but it's a kid's movie, it directly contradicts...
It's a dumb movie. I've seen it. It's not worth watching.
No, okay. So, give me a second, alright?
No.
So, I say this movie is not worth getting angry over, because, you know what? At the end of the day, it's sort of, secluded into its own sort of sub-canon, right? You don't have to watch this movie. You don't have to watch this movie alongside any of the others. Return to Zombie Island hinges on the fact that you have seen that's fair. That you have seen the original Zombie Island. So then
I'm just complaining about the fact that this self-contained movie just doesn't work even within its self-contained universe. Anyway.
But, yes, Zombie Island hinges on the fact that... Return to Zombie Island hinges on the fact that you have seen Zombie Island. And not only that, completely retcons and ruins the original experience of Zombie Island by completely demolishing any of the nuance that it had. It's... we had cat people, but yeah, they were pretty spooky, but we were doing this for a high school project, not the fact that...
Velma's like, I'm sure there was some logical explanation for all that bullshit that happened in that movie.
Despite the fact that they had it explained, not even explained, they had it threatened to them, essentially at gunpoint.
Sword point.
At sword and gun... Yeah, I say at gunpoint because they were basically under duress and were about...
And I say sword point because they were pirates.
They were
swords.
They were pirate zombies with swords. And Confederate soldiers, but we don't talk about that. Actually, no, we do talk about that because that's actually...
Zombie Island has had more cultural relevance than the Confederacy.
Bonjour! There are French people in Zombie Island too, because it takes place in Louisiana.
Anyway, getting back to the topic of
long story short, it's okay to get mad at Return to Zombie Island because it completely desecrates an earlier movie in the series and completely ruins any of the nuance and fun that movie had. Whereas this one, it's just sort of its own thing. I don't see a reason to get mad at it. Return to Zombie Island, I'll get mad at all I want. And I can say that because there's actually a good reason to get mad at it. This one, it's just dumb. Alright? It's dumb, stupid logic, but it's its own thing, and it doesn't have any effect on the bigger canon of Scooby-Doo. Alright? Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. But I still hate this movie with a passion.
I know you hate this movie, and you know what? Even despite its problems, I like this movie. So fuck you.
So anyway, after they show off the matter transdigitizing device,
they're just like, basically, long story short, Kaufman's like, okay, we're not using it because there's a big monster in the loose, and the Scooby Gang are like, monster in the loose? Well, I guess we got a job.
Not only that, Professor Lionmane even goes as far as to call it a grave threat of global consequences. And yet there's no authorities around investigating.
To be fair,
the only authority they have around investigating is the security guard, who probably hadn't even who had only basically heard about what was going on and thought it was a college prank.
Okay, all right. Now,
where's the FBI?
No, hold on. Now, give me a second here. Let's use our logic here for a second, okay? Let's say you call the authorities, you call the FBI, the CIA, and the police, and you tell them, "Hi, I work at a university, in a computer lab when we have a technology that has accidentally unleashed a horrible electric monster on the world. Are you gonna fucking believe them?
They literally have miracle technology that should be worldwide known because it's fucking miracle technology.
That's besides the point.
That's basically a huge Digivice. Minus the Digimon.
That's besides the point. I'm asking you, in this world, would you believe them?
Yes.
You're fucking dumb. Whatever.
Because this is a Scooby-Doo universe. All kinds of crazy shit keeps happening in this universe.
And every time it happens, it's always, oh, it's just a guy in a mask.
And what's to say that they're not that the authorities wouldn't be showing up to try and find the guy in the mask in this situation?
Because the Scooby Gang's there.
Yeah, but they got my brain broke.
I mean, am I wrong?
Anyway, so Professor Lionmane gives them some super magnets, and they go off searching for the monster. Which they decide to split up, and without Freddy even needing to assign positions, Scooby and Shaggy go off in one direction, while Fred, Velma, and Daphne go off in the other. And this moment is called out because Fred's like, I didn't say who would go with who, and Shaggy's like, we always use this configuration. Come on.
Is it ever anything else?
And I like the fact that there is, like, in one movie or TV show, they do decide to change things up, and it's super awkward for everyone.
Which one was it?
I'm trying to remember, but I remember Fred and Shaggy get paired up, and
yeah,
I think Fred tries to talk sports, and Shaggy's like, I'm just not into that.
Mm-hmm. I think they also do it in no, they do lampshade it in Witch's Ghost too. Where Daphne's like, so Fred, how come it's always you and me that are split up together, huh? And Fred's just like, well, you know, oh hey, look over there.
Hey, look, a witch. But yeah, no, that's...
It also was lampshaded in Zombie Island too, when they're about to split up with different configurations to go look for Scooby and Shaggy, remember? And Daphne's like, I'll go with Bo, and Velma's just like, I'll go with Bo. Because it's like, I don't trust this fucker, and I don't want Daphne alone with him.
But yeah, so they go off. They both groups end up encountering a monster, and Fred and the others' gangs, they use their magnets to scare it off. Though the fact that they have to literally get their magnets up and point it at the monster for it to even affect them flies in the face of how magnetics work.
Yeah.
Also, Velma just kind of randomly drops her magnet on the floor, and that stuns the monster just as it's trying to approach her.
For sure.
Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, Scooby and Shaggy are chowing down, and then they encounter the monster, and that they just have a whole chase throughout the entire college, apparently, because they wind up in, like, the psychology lab with electroshock equipment, which is so amazingly ethical.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But they wind up in a bunch of other departments that I couldn't be bothered to remember. Because
during the chase,
yeah,
they end up in the mechanics, they end up in the psychology, they end up at the library, they end up at the botany.
What I kind of hate about this sequence,
and they're all in one building.
They're all in one building. I don't know colleges that well, so I can't comment. But he has been to college.
I have been to a community college, and they are technically all in the same building, but they're in sort of different wings. So, for example, the chemistry and botany department are usually the same room.
So logically speaking, Shaggy and Scooby get chased by the monster all over the university.
But when we see the exterior of the university, it is a big It's like a Minnesota, University of Minnesota type deal where it's like different buildings, or like a big university like Yale or Georgia or Harvard, what have you.
But I think the most damning part of this chase sequence is that instead of getting an original song, they just have yet another remix of the Scooby-Doo theme, which worked fine in the past movies because those were used to introduce the film. This is a decent chunk of the way into the film, and then they decide to break out Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
Man, can we just watch Zombie Island again?
Yeah, let's just scrap this review and just go watch Zombie Island.
Fuck it. Let's go watch Terror Time again.
Woo!
Woo! In the end, though, like,
they get chased into the computer lab, which is where Fred, Daphne, Velma, and Wembley have wound up.
Officer Wembley. But I do have to laugh when the trio confronts, instead of the duo, it's the trio of Daphne, Fred, and Velma, and they confront the monster, and they got their super stuff out, and like Daphne says like a stupid line. She's like, "Get away, you thingy." And Fred's just like, "What the fuck? What the fuck did you say? Get away, you thingy." I think it was creepy thingy. Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah, and then, he steps on the magnet and runs away. Are you going to rant about that? You going to rant about how the transitive properties of the super magnet only work in certain instances?
I already did.
Oh, did you? Okay. I was half paying attention because you went...
No, I've already complained about the fact that you basically need to be facing the prongs of the magnet at the monster for it to have any effect, apparently.
Yeah, when he went on his rant, I was just like, I'm going to zone out. I'm going to zone out because I know where this is going.
Turns out you didn't know where it was going because you missed a vital piece of information.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they're zapped into the game, and
because somebody turned on the digitized device.
And it's right about time we go into a short ad break questionarium. So how was your day?
That's fine. I had to go to see the doctor, but
all right. I went to the dentist today. It was okay.
I had blood drawn. Apparently, at one point, I stopped bleeding, but they still got enough so.
Yeah, cool.
So I didn't have to get pricked twice.
So any recommendations for today?
Yes. I actually just finished watching Kamen Rider Kuga. It's an action series, yes, but I feel like this is the best of the Kamen Rider series because it does have a lot of action sequences, but it's also an incredible drama.
Yeah.
Just in general. Like, it has some great characters and great moments throughout the show. And it's coming out on Blu-ray in a couple of months, so I've already got my copy pre-ordered. So
yeah.
But if you want to watch it now, it's currently streaming on services like Tubi or Tokusatsu.
For me, it's certainly not like Fives, which is my favorite Kamen Rider.
You still haven't even seen it, and you're only claiming it's your favorite just to piss me off.
Oh, yeah. It's the one with the train, right? Or is that...
With the train? No, that's Den-O.
Oh, that's Den-O? Okay.
Den-O's cool.
Den-O's cool.
Fives, I don't care for, but I'm in the minority with that. But fuck Kamen Rider Ghost. Okay. Just in general. Like, people can agree that show was kind of awful.
You know what my least favorite Kamen Rider is? Kamen Rider Season 1. Ooh. What you gonna do?
Stab you in the face.
I just said that to piss him off.
Okay, so the plot of Kamen Rider Kuga, because each season of Kamen Rider has their own differing plots. Kamen Rider Kuga is after a group of violent monsters are resurrected as a result of an archaeological dig. a young man, a young adventurer named Yusuke Godai, begins having visions of a warrior wearing a belt found at the dig site, and when he puts the belt on, he transforms into an armored warrior who's able to combat the monsters, who have begun a violent murder spree of humans for reasons known only to them. And it does not take things lightly. People, hundreds, thousands of people die over the course of the series. And the police are unable to do anything. This is one of the very few entries in the Kamen Rider series where the police have any sort of presence. And they are really well handled in this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would strongly recommend checking it out.
You know what my recommendation is?
Go for it.
I recommend Spy Family.
Yeah, okay.
It's a new hit series on Crunchyroll. It is fucking great. So it is.
I do know that it's a Shonen Jump series.
It is a Shonen Jump series, and
so a manga version is available if you want to check it out.
It's really kind of wild. I think I think personally it'll be the next like big series. Like like it's not a big stupid fighting show like Dragon. I don't say stupid like meaning it's dumb or anything, but you know what I mean.
It's like shut your brain off, just enjoy the action.
Yeah, just enjoy the dumb action of like, oh, My Hero Academia, fucking One Punch Man, Dragon Ball Z, Hunter x Hunter. Although that's not true. Hunter x Hunter is a lot more nuanced than just big dumb fight.
Fun fact: the author of Hunter x Hunter is married to the author of Sailor Moon.
I'm not surprised. No.
Like that's a power couple right there.
Basic plot is it's the middle of the Cold War basically, where we got what I think it's like. I'm trying to think of the country names, but it's basically like East Germany and West Germany in all but name, and they are. It's the middle of a Cold War. They're the two big dominant powers in the continent, and Westlvania, or not Westlvania. That's a completely different thing. I think it's Westania or something.
Westlvania.
That's a thing.
I'm just imagining that as more like a Western Castlevania.
No, it was
like
a
Wild West Castlevania.
I think it was a proposed.
Shit! Now I want a Wild West Castlevania.
I think it was a proposed name for Ohio back in the day.
Okay.
Back before Ohio became a state, it was like a territory west of Pennsylvania, but nonetheless, the Western nation has it's all about, it's a Cold War, it's all about spy networks. And so the Western country has news or has information on like a possible like extremist group that's trying to gain power in the East. And so they send their best spy, who goes by Twilight, to live in the East and basically make up a fake family, have their daughter enroll into a school, and get close to one of the high profile politicians whose son is also involved in that school.
Wacky antics ensue.
And Twilight goes under the name of Lloyd Forger, and he adopts a child named Anya, who happens to secretly be a psychic, but she can't let anybody know that she's a psychic. So she knows that Lloyd's a spy, and she's a lot younger than she says she is. Contextually, she's younger than she says she is, because she says she's 6, but she's probably like 4 or 5, maybe. And it's hinted that she's like a science experiment who is just thrown into the orphanage system, adopted and returned back to orphanages time and time again. And so Anya, is kind of like clingy to Lloyd, because Lloyd's the only one who's like treated her nice. And then, so, she manages to pass the entrance exam, but big hiccup. They have live interviews between the parents and the child and the
parents plural,
parents plural, and the child and the teachers of the school. So, oops, Lloyd's got to find a wife real quick, and he does manage to find one.
And so did the internet.
Oh my god. Just the shit I've seen of yore. Fuck. Guys, come on. Stop.
It's okay. They'll forget about her in like a couple months. Whenever the new waifu comes out.
Oh, they've already found the clown girl from Ace Attorney.
I know.
Actually, they're both going around.
Let's see. Before that, it was what was it? Marin from.
I think it was Marin
from My Dress-Up Doll or something.
I can't remember.
So, some series about a girl who's okay with letting a doll designer dress her up in cosplay.
I don't know. It's weird.
I've heard good things,
but for those who are not cultured, let's put it that way.
Usually whenever some new anime comes out, they specify one particular character as the waifu, and everybody just loves making fan art. Just loves making fan art.
Fan art in quotations.
So, sometimes they don't even need an actual series. Sometimes they could just be given a concept. Like Bowsette!
Yes, I remember. That's still popular. That's still going.
Yes, it is.
But for those who don't know, the clown from Ace Attorney I'm talking about is not fucking Mo, not from the second game, who's a big, dumb, fucking stupid moron. No,
everybody knows all the characters from the games intimately.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was a clown in the second game.
There's a clown in the second game has a circus case, but no, the one. The clown that that everybody's gawking over is a character from, I think, the 6th game? Spirit of Justice. That's the one that came out in 2016, mind you. Came out in 2016. Has a character named Geru Tornado. I'm pretty sure that's a pun, but she's dressed up as a clown. And, she's got the
suspenders.
She's got the suspenders. She pulls them out and
big boobs is
big booba that are fake and balloons. That's
isn't that supposed to be a plot twist?
That is a plot point. Her boobs are fake. They are balloons because she's trying to pretend to be somebody else.
Because there's an Ace Attorney game.
Because it's an Ace Attorney game, so obviously she's the killer, everyone.
Obviously.
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry for spoiling.
It was Larry Butts the entire time.
It was Larry Butts the entire time.
How many people who are listening to us will even know who Larry Butts is?
When something smells, it's usually the butts.
Anyway, getting back to Spy Family.
It's a Spy Family. But yeah, Yor is super popular. She's super cute.
She's also an assassin.
Yeah, she's also an assassin. She kills people. But she tries to keep that hidden. Keep that shit hidden.
So it's basically a family of... It's basically a fake family of 3 people who have vastly different secrets that they're keeping from each other.
And they're trying to work together, basically. Trying to pretend to be this happy family for different reasons. Anya's just happy to have fucking parents at all. And Lloyd, his whole mission hinges on these 2 people not fucking it up. It's like the first mission he's ever had where he cannot rely on himself to save the day. He needs to rely on 2 people who are horribly inadequate at the job. Because Yor is... Where do I even begin with Yor?
I have no idea. I've never seen the series.
She's just very... I don't even know how to describe her. She's very... not dumb. She's not dumb. She's very nice, but she is very bad at social cues. And Anya is a fucking child. Like, her voice actress in the English sub version, the original language version,
the Japanese version
is.
You forgot what Japanese was, didn't you?
No, I just didn't want to say Japanese dub because then people will be like.
That's why I just go with version.
Japanese version. It's not a dub. Ooh.
Technically, it is.
It is.
They are technically dubbing over footage. So ha!
Yeah. But and Anya is a child, and her character is so good.
So many faces I've seen.
she has so many faces. You have no idea how many faces I
pretty sure I've got a decent idea considering I'm on the internet.
Yeah. No, well, I was gonna say you have no idea how much I use her smirk.
Oh, okay.
I send her smirk to people and be like, yeah, this is Anya. This is what you need to expect from her. She is she's got the Woody. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, there's a corrupted image of Woody, and he's got the perv face, the perv smirk. And that's Anya's face, but it's not like a perv smirk. It's just ha, fuck you.
That's not her default face.
That's
not
her
just one
default
of the
face.
faces that she makes.
Yeah. And she makes a lot of faces, and they're really cute and dumb, fun.
Silly.
Silly. But yeah, Lloyd's basically the main protagonist, and he's hyper competent. He's super hyper competent. He's the world's best spy and everything, and he's so reliant.
So not James Bond.
He's not not James Bond, who always goes around telling people, "Hi, I'm James Bond. I'm a spy extraordinaire. Nice to meet you." He's fucking announcing.
What are you doing on my boat?
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck?
I'm fishing here. Why do I care if you're a spy?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Ah, punched! You punched me!
That's it, I'm suing you. I don't care if you have a license to kill. Yeah, pretty much. And, yeah, there's a lot of dumb scenarios. Even better is that the eastern country is sort of sort of an authoritarian state where they have a secret police, and your younger brother is a member of that secret police.
Oh shit!
Yeah, yeah. He's also got a very weird sister complex. I won't go into that.
Because he's an anime character.
Because he's an anime character, and he's just I've always my sister is the only person I've ever lived with. So I love my sister, and I'm very overprotective of her. I think that's how it's supposed to read.
But it's anime.
But it is anime, so,
So...
take it with a grain of salt. So, that's the end of the ad break questionarium.
Back to talking about this terrible piece of crap movie.
So, first level of the game is a moon.
Yeah, because, the best way to start your game is with a level that has physics that are not going to be relevant for the rest of the game. That's just LJN 101.
I just want you... Don't you fucking disrespect LJN like that. What games are you talking about here?
Any of them.
I mean, if you're talking about a
mostly licensed games.
I mean, if you're talking about a Nightmare on Elm Street, that's only in the dream world, all right?
I'm fine with how the mechanics work in the dream world.
I love... You know what? Side tangent. I like Nightmare on Elm Street for the NES. People who say it's bad can fuck off. It's not great. It's pretty average.
And I like Friday the 13th. Even
I like Friday the 13th.
Even though I'm terrible at it.
I like Friday the 13th too.
I grew up with that game.
I like Friday the 13th on the NES.
Doesn't make it a good game.
It's not a good game, but I would never say it's a bad game. It's a game that did not implement its gameplay very well. But
this game starts with basically moon jumping. It's like I said, you
rocket.
gotta start your game with mechanics that they'll never use for the rest of the game. Because that's just great game design, sarcasm.
So anyways, Monster is in the game with them.
Because of course it is.
And he says, let's play...
The Phantom Virus, by the way.
Did we mention that? Yeah, so there's two competing games. There's Bill's game and Eric's game. And Bill's game is a baseball game. Because
there's none of those that have ever been made.
Yeah. And so the first thing that...
Oh, I should mention that the game that Eric's been working on, the game that the Scooby Gang are trapped in, is based on the Scooby Gang. Because they've totally been to the moon prior to this point. Without Scrappy being involved.
Okay. Okay. Alright. I wanted that qualifier there.
I mean, yes, they do eventually go to, like, a space station in one of the later movies.
And they also go to the future, too.
Yeah.
With the WWE superstars. Lucas is trying hard not to remember that.
I'm trying to think which one.
It's the one where it's like, I think they get frozen in time and they're like 1,000 years into the future or whatever. They get Futurama, but like there's WWE superstars and like WWE owns the world because they're so fucking big. Not so much now, Vince. You fucking rat bastard.
I don't remember this movie.
Give me a second here.
Because I've watched both of the WWE Scooby-Doo crossovers, and none of them involve time travel or...
There is a Scooby-Doo...
I remember the one where they have a drag race for some reason.
Yeah.
Because that's what wrestling is best known for. Random drag races. Seriously, that should have been a Wacky Races.
Oh, I think it was a Jetsons, actually.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why I don't remember it. Because fuck the Jetsons.
You don't like the Jetsons?
I'm kidding. I just wanted to say that. That's all.
I am angry at you for saying you don't like.
I've just never followed up
fine.
with the.
I think it was a Jetsons film, though.
I've just never followed up with the Jetsons past their crossover with the Flintstones.
Anyways, yeah.
I'm being facetious. I don't actually hate.
Anyways, the monster shows up. The I can't remember.
Phantom Virus.
Phantom Virus is what.
I think we can't keep forgetting to mention that it's called the Phantom Virus.
Who gives a shit?
Now you're on the same page.
Yeah. The Phantom Virus shows up and he's like, let's play ball and everything. And gee, I wonder who the villain is.
But they manage to get the box of Scooby snacks that takes them to the next level.
A Roman Coliseum, and I'm so mad. No. People know I love Roman history. People know that already. And I'm just like, fuck. Why? All right. See, when I first watched this movie, I wasn't a big Roman history buff.
Because you were like 5.
I was like 5 or 6 or whatever.
5. And 2001, 5.
I was 5. And, over the years, And I only really got big into Roman history once I turned like 12, 13, I think.
I don't know.
And not that I've talked about it much. I mostly kept it to myself because, a 13-year-old talking about Roman history. What a fucking weirdo in school. You know how it goes.
And now I'm a 35-year-old talking about tokusatsu. So.
I mean, that's nominally more normal.
Fair point.
You're part of a subgroup. Back in high school, you talk about tokusatsu.
I wasn't even into tokusatsu in high school.
Exactly.
It's like I was into Power Rangers when I was a little kid, then high school, then an adult, now I'm tokusatsu.
Exactly. But, just the whole makeup of it. I mean, I get the chalk lines and everything, and then they bring out the lions and everything. And
I feel I should mention that they find, like, a big chalk diamond that they can't identify as a baseball field.
In a coliseum. I mean, you know what? Okay, hold on.
Spoiler alert! Dude, are we okay with just telling him who it is?
It's Bill.
It's fucking Bill.
It's Bill.
It's fucking Bill.
It's so obvious. They fucking drip that honey of clues on you.
Like, I think the first clue is that the phantom virus comes out of his computer. It's his computer that causes the digitizer to act up.
Yes.
That's like the biggest big red button moment.
So yeah, they send out lions, and it's like, okay, you're playing into the whole, you feed the Christians, feed Christians to the lions, sort of. That's not a myth. It definitely happened, but like
it wasn't as prevalent.
It wasn't as prevalent. And then they bring out the gladiators, and
who are skeletons because
we're skeletons, of course. I have a lot to say about it, but like I can't find the words right now.
It's okay. I empathize with
the biggest thing that a lot of people sort of misconstrue, I guess, is like shit like with Gladiator, the movie, the Russell Crowe movie, you know, oh, they're gladiators and they're fucking killing each other. First off,
that's a terrible investment.
That would not fucking happen, especially in Rome. Were people publicly executed in the Colosseum?
Maybe.
Sure, definitely. That definitely happened. Did they put gladiators up against civilians and had them kill each other? Absolutely. But two gladiators would not kill each other because that is a horrible investment. There were rules, there were laws that had to be followed in the Colosseum when two gladiators were fighting. There was a referee that made sure the rules were followed.
Aside from the killing civilians, gladiators were basically athletes.
Gladiators were MMA fighters of their day.
Yeah, that's a good equivalent. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, they were the MMA fighters of their day. They were people who came from different backgrounds. You could have a Roman from London, a Roman from North Africa, a Roman from fucking Syria, and they'd all have different styles of how they fight, despite the fact that they use similar weapons and similar arrangements. The Roman Empire was that big.
Oh, okay.
The Roman Empire ranged from
that's what was throwing me off. It's like, how could they be Roman if they're from these other places?
Yep, the Roman Empire at its greatest extent ranged from Britain to Spain to Libya and Egypt to Syria and Anatolia. Yeah, it was fucking big.
That cleared up that confusion I had.
The Roman Empire is big for its time, but not as big as the Mongol or British Empire, which were far bigger. Yes. Anyways, getting back in my train of thought. Basically, yeah, this scene particularly sort of fucking tracks me now. The second level of Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase tracks me now because it's just dumb and it's like, fuck. Somebody who likes historical accuracy and I'm not getting it. I'm getting stereotypes. And that's, I guess that's fair.
It's a video game. Not a terribly well-designed video game.
I forget, is this supposed to be like a 2D platformer or a 3D?
I don't even know if they know what it's supposed to be.
Was this made in like Unreal Engine or something? I wouldn't be surprised.
There's one point where Daphne, Velma, and Fred are chased by the lion, and Fred borrows Daphne's coat, and basically Toro's the lion, which confuses the lion.
Leo!
It's like, Fred, you idiot! You have the lion confused! Get the hell out of there! Don't think about semantics. The lion's confused. Get the hell out!
Exactly. And then, Roman and Scooby-Doo and Scooby and Shaggy dress up as like Caesar and shit. And it's like, that's not Caesar, it's Augustus. I mean, Caesar's the title, but that was only later. Semantics, I know, but I am... Yes. All hail Caesar. Mighty Caesar. And then it fails. It fails completely.
Anyway, they get the box and are able to move on to the next level, which is prehistoric times.
Fuck, yeah.
Because the Scooby Gang are famous for going back in time to the time of the dinosaurs
that one time.
And that would actually involve Scrappy-Doo. I don't even remember if there was one where they time traveled back to the dinosaur ages or not.
I don't even know.
It's like, I don't even care anymore. Bearing in mind, this is a video game that's apparently based on the Scooby Gang. I feel I have to keep reminding people of that, because this movie doesn't ever remember that that's the case until the very end. Well, aside from the fact that each level is gotten to by grabbing a box of Scooby snacks that's randomly placed in the level.
More dumb shit happens.
They wind up in a cave. Scooby and Shaggy go out for firewood, spot a volcano, run back to tell the other guys, who apparently had no idea there was a volcano, despite there being a giant hole that they could look out of to see that there's a volcano.
Keep going.
They don't even seem to notice it until it starts erupting. Then the Phantom Virus shows up with a T-Rex. At some point, they get on Woolly Mammoths. They save a baby pterodactyl, which is where the Scooby snacks are, and then they move on to the next level, which I guess is the ocean, because now we're in the musical montage segment of the movie where they skip over a good chunk of levels of the game. You get the ocean, you get Japan, you get a pyramid, you get medieval times, you get Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I just want to say the Japanese level sort of tracks. The Japanese level sort of tracks.
I mean, I get, yeah.
If you remember, they went to like a Chinatown in the original series.
Yes, I remember that, and that's an incredibly racist episode.
It is an incredibly racist episode, and we don't.
But it happened.
But it happened. So I mean. I also laugh because, like, you know.
Yeah, but they wouldn't go to Japan and deal with a samurai until a few movies later.
We don't talk about that. Actually, I admit that movie was all right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that movie.
That movie was okay. That and Chill Out Scooby-Doo, both are pretty good.
But yeah, so a lot of these levels basically predict upcoming movies unintentionally.
So why is your Dragon Maid collection out of order?
Because I'm trying to get it in as chronological order based on comments as I can.
Whatever.
Also, I have a couple at work.
Whatever.
So.
Anyways, so how's your day been?
You're always pulling this shit.
Yep.
But anyway, then the musical number is over, and then they're finally on the final level.
Boom digga digga day or night.
Fuck you. They're on the final level.
I mean, there's two things. The Japanese level we mentioned, and Daphne fucking disarms a samurai with a broom.
Which tracks for the movie that actually has that as a plot point.
Are we talking the theatrical release, or... No.
No.
Okay.
No, in the Scooby-Doo and the Samurai Sword, the reason they go there is because Daphne is part of the competition.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yep.
So that tracks.
And then the Egyptian one, it's that one's interesting. Even
that one is one we should talk about at some point.
Yes. No, the Egyptian scene in the movie. That one was okay.
I was just saying we should talk about the movie.
Yeah, well, of course we're gonna talk about Scooby-Doo and the Secrets of the Pyramid, or whatever it's called. And the Mummy's Curse, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And fuck it, whatever. The medieval one is also fucking dumb, but that's only because I can't track what time period they're supposed to be making fun of.
It's got a dragon and a princess. I don't think they were going for anything specific, just fairy tale.
Yeah. Ooh, it's the romanticized vision of what we think medieval times were.
Yeah.
And not the reality, which is big castle, a bunch of dirty fucking peasants spread out around the castle, and a bunch of people invading. And plague. That too. Anyways. Sorry.
So, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail is actually a perfect. Perfect.
Well, they were British.
Yeah.
So.
But that makes fun of Arthurian legend, too.
I know, but...
The Arthurian legend is supposed to take place even before Rome was ever a thing. Which is dumb.
I'm not a history buff.
It's dumb, it's dumb, it's stupid, it's whatever. It's whatever. Fucking God, move on!
Sorry, I didn't think this would trigger you so bad.
Fuck! I mean, technically Arthurian legend now is medieval now, But when the original myths came out, it was like, it's like group of people who fight Rome on the British Isles. Arthur is like an ancient legendary king. He's got a cool sword.
Bearing in mind that he's going on this rant about a flash, blink and you'll miss it moment in a montage that skips over a bunch of levels.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm fine with it.
It's just...
It keeps us from talking about the rest of this movie.
I care a lot about history, and when history is done inaccurately, as it is wont to do, because people have a certain vision of history, sort of like how people view the Civil War as not about slavery, but
even though that totally was.
Even though that's the driving reason behind it, and frame it as sort of a states' right issue to secede, so they can spread slavery, which is the big picture here. Yeah, was it a states' right issue?
Yeah, fuck human rights. We want state rights.
Yeah. Yeah, just like the things that are going on now.
Yeah, that's... Anyway, moving on.
Moving on from that.
I can completely understand why they decided to skip over the water level, though.
I cannot remember.
They were in the ocean.
Yeah,
they were in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's literally the entire level, apparently.
I guess.
That counts as the water level. Because nobody likes water levels
That's
in
true.
video games.
I mean, the water temple is pretty trash.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
In every Zelda game, I think. Maybe not in Link to the Past. I don't know. There was a water temple.
There was a water one, but...
That was in the middle of the lake, yeah.
Yeah, but you, by that point, have drained the lake pretty much, so you're not really dealing with water anymore.
But it's still a water temple, technically.
Yes.
Semantically.
Yes.
Technically correct. The worst kind of correct.
The best kind of correct.
The best kind of correct. Anyways, yeah. Final level, I'm going to say it's Coolsville.
Basically.
It's Coolsville.
Like, this is the only level in the game that actually is based on Scooby and the Gang. In a game that's supposed to be based on Scooby and the Gang.
I get why you'd want it to be the first level, but I'm okay with it being the last level.
Like, I would have been okay if it were a hub world.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Like, okay, so here's how... If I were to actually make this game within a movie, here's how I would have structured it.
You wouldn't have.
I would have started with maybe a creepy mansion, okay? Maybe go with them being at the museum, dealing with the Black Knight, their the first monster they encounter. That's how I would start the game. Then maybe go on to Coolsville as a hub world, and have all the other levels be themed around their various adventures. The moon stage, the kooky space kook, the creepy space kook, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, kooky space kook. Creepy space kook, I think.
You have the dinosaur level. Jaguaro, just repurpose it as a jungle level.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there's
the ocean level.
So the villains are... There's the Creeper.
In this movie.
In this movie, there's the Creeper.
Iron Face, Jaguaro,
and
Swamp Lizard, Swamp Gator, or something?
I think so. And, like, the Tar Monster.
Yes. I want to say there's, like, another one, but I can't remember what it is offhand.
It's just the 5, because there's the 5.
And the Phantom Virus.
Because there's the 5 of them.
Okay, yeah. So,
5 members of... Yeah. You got what I mean. 5 members of the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
5 monsters. Anyway, yeah, okay, Black Knight, sure. Maybe instead of a creepy mansion, do a creepy castle and do the original ghost that they faced off against.
The Black Knight.
Not the Black Knight, the white ghost.
Oh! Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that one's more... I think that one's more iconic than... do the white ghost, do the creepy space kook, do the creeper, obviously.
Well, I'm just... I was just kind of having the setup for the first level to establish it, like you should do in a proper video game. And then have all the other ones be the later levels. Go on to the moon one. Creepy space group. You get the Roman Colosseum. I'm sure they've got some... They probably fought a Minotaur at some point, I'm sure.
I don't know, man.
The dinosaur one, just repurpose that as a jungle and have Jaguaro.
The Civil War. Do do the Civil War.
Atrocities against humanity. That's the monster they face for that one.
I was gonna say they could do the Green Ghosts.
So the atrocities against humanity.
Atrocities against humanity. Fuck, that was good. They could do the Civil War.
The ocean one, the ocean level, they should have, like, I'm pretty sure they faced off against some, like, shark monster at some point.
You know what? Okay, alright. This is just me thinking about this. If you want this to be a proper send-off to Scooby-Doo as a franchise, I mean, this was basically what the intent was. This was supposed to be a send-off. Basically, like, we're finished, and this is our apex. Alright? If you want this to be about Scooby and the gang's adventures, and you want this to be canon with all the other movies, okay, fine. Have it set when they're all adults. Don't revert them back to teenagers. And you know what? Do a level on Zombie Island. Okay?
That would be the final level.
That should be the final level, because that was, you know,
like just having Zombie Island as a level doesn't make Zombie Island any less canonical.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the canon.
It doesn't. It's just like, oh, hey, Zombie Island's a thing.
But yeah, like, the idea would have, like, if you're going to have all these drastically different settings for levels, at least have them themed around the adventures that the Scooby Gang have. But no, they only save the Scooby stuff until the very end of the game. At which point they encounter their AI counterparts in the game, who are basically the player characters who according to Eric, nobody's ever actually beaten the game, which is bullshit because you're the programmer. You should be able to beat your own game. Unless you were, like, working for LJN or something.
I was gonna say, that reminds me of, like, id Software back in the day when they were like, oh, I think it was id, when they were making Wolfenstein 3D or Doom, and they're like, yeah, we're having a pretty easy time, so let's add a mode that fucking makes everything 10 times more difficult just to fuck with the player. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Doom. Because Nightmare mode, because they had the Nightmare difficulty, which respawns monsters and makes them twice as fast.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying shit.
Also, how... I mean, aside from the fact that we learned that the AI-controlled NPC characters, or whatever player characters they are, just don't want to get the Scooby Snacks because that'll just send them back to the beginning of the game... How is the final level impossible to beat? How has nobody beaten it? It's literally just a town.
I mean...
Granted, the only reason that the Scooby Gang even know where to find it is because their AI counterparts just flat out tell them, yeah, this is where it is.
You know what? I think the town was supposed to be sort of an open world. You know what? I think it was supposed to be like a clock tower sort of thing, where you're being chased and you can't defend yourself.
That's why it should have been the hub world.
Maybe.
That's why it should have been the hub world.
Like an open world chase. That would be kind of cool, actually.
It's like, how is it that this game that they're making using digitizer technology that is a miraculous world changer, how is this game so shit? How poorly designed. Why is it that the SNES Scooby-Doo game is a better Scooby-Doo game than this one made on even more advanced computers?
So anyways, there's another chase.
Because they don't...
Is it another Scooby-Doo theme, I think?
They do have an original song for this one, so thankfully it's not just...
Okay.
Like, I actually think that if they had the Scooby-Doo theme, at this point, it would have made a lot of thematic sense. I wouldn't have been so pissed off with it if it were actually taking place at this point, where they're dealing with actual Scooby-Doo monsters in an homage to Scooby-Doo's history.
Yeah.
I say that, but, like, 5 of their classic monsters show up, and Velma's like, it's like all of our classic monsters are here!
No.
Not even close!
This is not even.
Not even counting monsters that came out after this movie. There were a ton of monsters that came out before this movie.
I was going to say this is not Night of 1,000 Frights. Okay.
That is also a better game than this.
Which came out like 2 years after this, mind you. God, man, Night of 1,000 Frights.
They retroactively took my advice, I guess.
Yes. That one's pretty good. You know what? Yeah. There's also Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem, but that's a different thing.
You want to know the shittest part?
What?
They made a game based off of this movie.
Yeah, they did. I know.
It's basically a Crash Bandicoot clone, more or less.
I know. There's also one on the GameCube.
And yet, Crash Bandicoot did a better job of being a Scooby-Doo game.
There's also one on the Game Boy Advance, which is the side-scroller.
Yeah, but I have no context for that. I'm only talking about the fact...
Yeah, I played it, so, you know.
I was just going off of the fact that Catacris had reviewed the game immediately prior to reviewing the movie.
Yeah.
Which he said he would never do in that review of the game.
So anyways, shit happens. There's a big chase.
Do we get...
Oh, you've tried the firework?
Yes, I have.
For reference, I'm talking about...
Firewalk. It's...
Oh, Firewalk. Yeah. There's a
ramen bowl.
The ramen bowl that's
super hot.
Super hot. I've tried it.
I have tried it.
It's okay.
I've tried this bulldog.
You know what? I actually didn't really like it. I didn't really like the...
Oh, I thought it was fine.
It tasted a bit weird. Like, I finished it. I finished the whole thing, but it tasted kind of weird. It had a weird foretaste, I guess.
I'd have it again.
So, bada bing, bada boom. Scooby and the gang, they defeat...
Get chased by monsters, go to the arcade, random bullshit happens. They get the Scooby snacks, and that somehow defeats the monster. Somehow. Also, it's at around this point that they remember that they have fucking magnets in their pockets, which have only now become relevant again, and somehow weren't affecting any of the levels that they were in prior to this moment. But as soon as Shaggy pulls one out and they remember that it exists, suddenly it has an effect on the AI characters, regardless of where they're standing in relation to the magnet. So magnets just, how the fuck do they work?
You know what could have saved them a lot of time? Is if as soon like if they remembered that they had the magnets for the entire game, and as soon as the big monsters showed up, they just pulled out the magnets, walked into the arcade. Sorry AI guys. I mean, necessary sacrifices.
Yeah, I don't even think they actually do anything to deal with the monsters that are chasing them.
No.
Because as soon as they remember that they have the magnets, they just head to the arcade, and then they just have to deal with the Phantom Virus, who apparently doesn't do a whole lot other than menace them. Also, I assume they had multiple magnets, but...
Is he trying to kill them? What's the whole deal? Whatever. They get the Scooby snacks. Fuck it.
They get the Scooby snacks, they get out of the game, they catch the culprit, the movie ends. It's very anticlimactic, to be honest.
Yeah, whatever.
And then the movie ends. And then they have a post-credit sequence in which the characters in the movie talk about the making of the movie as though they were acknowledging that it were a work of fiction, but then at the same time also acting as though things were actually real. Like when Velma talks about her favorite part of the prehistoric time being riding on the woolly mammoths. Or Fred talking about how he got to dress up as a gladiator, which is not anything that happened in the movie. Or Daphne talking about how they got to be in the North Pole, or the South Pole, or fucking wherever.
So anyways, 6.5 out of 10, I think.
4.
Yeah, I
4.
know. I know you don't like it. So where are we? For me.
Oh, and the final part of the post-credit scene, the Scooby's favorite moment in the. Oh, before I even get to that, Shaggy's favorite part of the movie is being in the arcade and playing all the arcade games, because he claims he's so good at video games, despite being utter shit at them at the very beginning of the movie.
So anyways...
And then the final bit with Scooby's favorite moment being when they use the digitizer device to pull the Scooby from the game into the real world. Make up your mind on what's real and what's not, movie! Are they actors making a movie, or is the shit that happened in the movie real?
So anyways...
Why does this post-credit scene even exist?
So anyways, I would say this. I'd rather watch this than Alien Invaders again.
That's a fair point.
I don't know.
I had forgotten so much about Alien Invaders outside of the potential rape implications. Yeah, you forgot about that too.
Yep, that's the thing that happened. But, no, I'd rather watch this.
That's the thing that was implied.
I'd rather.
It didn't actually happen.
Because
they couldn't talk about it in a kid's movie.
I'd rather.
But we all know what happened.
I'd rather watch this than Alien Invaders. Alien Invaders is just kind of boring and it's uncomfortable and dumb. This one's just like, it has a bunch of problems, but it's at the end of the day, it's still an interesting film.
I will say this. From here on, my only experience with this movie will be through the Cat Icarus video and me rewatching it, but he does make a glaring mistake at one point. He says that he didn't like Scott Enos's performance in this movie and then compared it to, as Shaggy, for context, and then compares it to Scott Enos's performance as Shaggy in Zombie Island, which...
Oof.
Yeah!
Not Mark Hamill, it was Billy West played
Yeah! It's like, that's the one problem. It's like, yeah, of course he's gonna sound better in that movie. Who's played by a completely different actor.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he's realized his mistake. Either that or he just doesn't want to think about it ever again.
You know what? I'm gonna send him a direct message.
My brother told me that you got this wrong in this video that came out half a decade ago.
Yeah. It was actually Billy West, otherwise known as Stimpy? Stimpy?
Yes.
Stimpy, everybody from Futurama. Basically. Yada, yada, yada. Anyways, yeah. No, I have always held this opinion. I would rather watch a bad movie than a boring movie.
That is a fair point.
Because you can... and, like, guys like AVGN and guys like James Rolfe and a couple of other critics for their respective media always say you can work with bad, but you can't work with boring.
That is fair.
And so, like, even if people think this is not a very good movie, I'd still rather watch this than Alien Invaders. Alien Invaders is just boring.
Yeah. I forget so much about that movie that I just have no inclination to check it out ever. It's like...
So after this, it's what, Vampire Rock? It's not Monster of Mexico.
I know. It's, Legend of the Vampire.
Legend of the Vampire. Yeah, Vampire Rock.
Okay. It takes place on Vampire Rock.
Takes place in Australia.
Yeah, and I have problems with that movie as well, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
I think that movie fares a lot better, though.
Yeah, I'm saying I have issues with the movie.
Okay.
Not that it's outright awful. I mean, I prefer it over Cyber Chase.
No big fucking surprise. You hate Cyber Chase. You rated it a fucking 4, you dweeb.
And I stand by that, if not a 3.
It's not a 3. It's not that bad.
Like, if 5 is the average, which is what it's supposed to be on a rating system, then yeah, if I don't like something, it'd probably be closer to like a 3. I'm changing my score. It's a 3 now. Just
do a 3.5. Go in the middle.
But then we'd be going out of 100. And that's just...
Fuck off.
It's like, what's the point of having a specific set number if you're just going to add fractions?
I've been doing a half. I said this one was a 6.5 out of 10.
I thought you said it was a 6 out of 10.
No, I said it was a 6.5 out of 10.
Well, then it's 6... then it's 65 out of 100.
Who cares? I mean,
semantics cares.
I mean, it means the same thing. It's just easier.
I mean, I get it, and I'm being entirely overblown about this intentionally. But fuck you.
Okay. Let's fucking end this before we fucking tear each other's throats out about semantics.
Too late. Already torn mine out.
Fucker. Nothing else to talk about.
This was a bad movie. I'm glad I don't have to watch it again unless I really want to.
I don't.
And even then, that would probably just be as part of a marathon of watching other movies.
See, he's overreacting and overblowing it. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a movie with a lot of problems, but it's still perfectly watchable.
And I just find the entire premise flawed because it hinges on a piece of miracle technology that they just act as though as an everyday occurrence. Despite also it not being an everyday occurrence.
You know what else, though? You know what? Your mom. How's that sound?
I retort, your mom.
Oh, shit. What's that supposed to mean?
We have the same mother.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You know what? Your mom is a wonderful woman.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Fuck.
How dare you say that about her?
Alright, see you, everybody.
Wait, hold up. For context, this is one of my favorite jokes from Billy and Mandy. Your mother has a job and is a respectable member of the community.
What would you say about my mother?
No one says that about my mother!
Fucking, what's his name? Not Spurg? I think it's
Yes!
Spurg.
It's Spurg.
Fucking Spurg.
Okay, bye guys.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Take that, some sticks and stones.
See ya.
See ya.